Well, hello, dear listener. I hope you are doing fantastic, whatever day or time it is for you, wherever you are, and I hope you continue to do so. Do fantastic, I mean. Hope you continue to... whatever. Anyway, so this story is a single story, as it is Monday. This story is a little longer than the other ones, and it is titled, I'm a Fallen Angel, and I Just Broke a Potted Plant and the Universe. Now, I am going to preface this story with saying I am not going to edit the language in order to maintain the integrity of the story, so viewer discretion is advised here because the language is slightly harsh, the imagery is a little graphic, but I don't want to ruin the integrity of the story, so I'm just going to leave it as is. If that's not your cup of tea, please click to a different video. I don't mean to offend, I just want to keep the story intact. So that said, I am going to let myself take it away and read the story. Again, this is I'm a Fallen Angel, and I Just Broke a Potted Plant and the Universe, Part 1. Enjoy. Don't touch that, you're going to electrocute yourself, Essex stated to me blandly, as I attempted to climb the electrified fence. Mana watched from the shadow of the building in true stalker fashion, fully prepared to laugh at my misfortune. Essex studied me with her unnerving green eyes. She watched me bring up my hand. I figured this was another trick from her calculated mind, and allowed my closed hand to fall on the electrified chain links. I quickly pulled my hand away. Is it bad that I can taste my own atoms? I asked, smacking my tongue in distaste. Essex gave me her deluxe I told you so look, and Mana was adding my previous phrase to her ongoing stupidest things that Axel has said and done list. I glanced around. The dumpster is close enough to the house. You could hop through a window, Essex pointed out. The psychic had probably known that from scratch. I wondered why I hadn't killed her yet for the 100th time that night, and crawled onto the dumpster. Essex was right. I could easily make it into the house from the window next to the dumpster. I quickly hopped off the counter I landed on. I flicked the light switch up and down for a moment, letting Essex and Mana know that I had gotten in fine. I pulled the knife from my blazer, holding it at the ready, and made my way upstairs. John Castor was the target for the night. I quickly slipped into his room. I had no need for stealth, I wasn't some Poe character. No, I just needed seconds to strike my first blow. I stabbed him once before crawling on top of him, straddling the man as he woke up in survival mode. He made a choked squeal as I twisted the knife I had lodged into his abdomen. Make a sound, and this is going in your windpipe, I told him, twisting the knife sharply to illustrate my point. John gave me a look of absolute terror. His eyes began to fade from whatever light they held. The expression on his face was that of a dying man, and I instantly knew that I had hit something far too important. I removed my knife, moving it to his throat. If he was going to die, he needed to die as slowly as he could. I moved, straddling his wound as to apply pressure. He winced and I smiled. You really should lock your window at night, especially with a big, scary murderer about, I taunted, the tip of my blade dancing across his neck. He struggled against me, but I pushed my blade a little more. I wouldn't try to fight it if I were you. My weight is keeping you from bleeding out as we speak, I told him. He continued to struggle. I sighed deeply before cutting him ear to ear. Oh, what a shame, I said, climbing off the dying man. Tell my father I'm still here, would ya? I glanced back, wiping my blade off on my jeans. The waterfall that was his neck was spurting out sporadically now. He would be found by morning. Essex and her many friends knew to take care. That way it was always the same stuff. I saw a creepy man outside their house. Most never suspect a thing. No matter how many times a single group sees the murderer, Essex and her friends already had a reputation for having the worst luck. I moved away from the dead man and back toward the kitchen, but fate had other plans. One of the belt loops of my jeans caught onto something. I struggled with the loop, pulling at it in annoyance before it snapped. I lurched forward in slow motion. John had a potted plant, and I dove face first into that terracotta pot. To the mortal ear, the catalyst sounded simply like a crash. But all my superior ears heard was the fabric of reality tearing. Shit, I said mildly as though I had simply forgotten my keys, moving quickly to the stairs now. I hope that was a minor terror, I muttered, sliding on the railing down to the kitchen. I climbed onto the counter and back through the window. Whoa, the hell happened to your face? Essex asked, her green eyes filled with amusement. I gave her a sharp look, and then made a gesture like I was tuning a radio. She stopped for a moment, slowly understanding what I was inquiring about. "The line is more jammed than Christmas traffic in a city," she summed up for me. I sighed deeply. My fucking luck, I muttered, my face warming with blood pouring over my face. I was hardly annoyed, but Essex and Mana looked slightly discomforted by my wounds. I wiped my face. "I need to find a cave to hide in, preferably one with a pile of evil tokens. They're coming for my ass, I can bet you." I sighed and looked at Essex. "You should go home. Don't want my best tool falling into the wrong hands, do we?" We both knew that technically I was the wrong hands, but she nodded in understanding. I braced for one of my elder brothers to show themselves, possibly smite me. It was probably going to be Mike. He had it out for me as soon as Lucy dipped out, but when a flash of silver came and I was face to face with my favorite brother, Gabriel, I wasn't sure if I was glad or very, very worried. After all, I had just set off a cataclysmic event, and Dad sent the messenger boy, and though I had no problem with that, it meant that I had done something very wrong. "We leave you be for 3 years, and you set off an apocalyptic catalyst. Really quit," Gabe started before I cut in. "We talk about this on my terms, and it's Axel now." Gabriel gave me a pitying look, and I returned his with a disgruntled grunt and a dirty stare. I turned around and started walking into the woods, ignoring both Gabriel and Mana who remained with me. I knew they both would follow, where I would get an earful from Gabriel and numerous mind-numbing questions from Mana. Oh, this was going to be a long night. So there you have it. That is part 1 of I Am a Fallen Angel and I Just Broke a Potted Plant and the Universe. I read this story on the No Sleep subreddit, where it was unfortunately removed, so I have linked to the user in the description. Anyway, I read this story, and I had to narrate it. It was just one of those stories that felt like it needed to be narrated. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I love the story. Hopefully the author continues through with this. This was part 1. I would love to narrate part 2 and 3 and all the way up to the infinite number of parts that are possible. Either way, if you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like, thumbs up, leave a comment so I can discuss the story with you or just have conversation. I enjoy talking about random things. If you ever want to leave a comment, I also accept compliments and criticisms, so long as it's good compliments and criticisms, not just random words. Anyway, my point is, leave a comment, like the video, please subscribe if you enjoyed this. I have a few more videos already made. You can go back and listen to those. Hopefully you guys stick around to the next video, but until then, sleep well.